Hi, performers and achievers. Welcome to Performers and Achievers Daily with me, Raj Gavurla. In today's episode, we're discussing, do you watch your highlights? So as I go around and I coach, I train, I teach, I speak, wherever I am, you can watch videos online of me. You're obviously here. I'm doing this podcast, delivering a podcast, so I'm performing here. And then I have video on my home website that you can watch. And that's for people who are really interested in booking someone for one of their events as a professional speaker and author. It is very important that you watch your highlights as a performer. And you could be a performer in anything. You can be a performer, let's just say, at a business where it's not about necessarily performing on stage in front of an audience, right? I help people from all walks of life. So I help all types of performers and achievers. So it's not just someone who's performing and there's an audience like a professional actor, a professional actress, or a professional speaker, or someone presenting something, or someone playing sports, someone dancing, someone singing. Yes, that is where I like to help people the most because I can really benefit them, but I also help them in just regular everyday jobs. So I have a customer who is a owner and who is a chef. Now, obviously, he's not just a chef, he's an owner of his business. And so there's ways for him to watch highlights. Now, where can you get these highlights? Well, some highlights, if you video yourself, obviously you receive highlights. I go to the tennis court these days, and now with the advancement of technology, for those of you who like to do this, you can use your iPhone and record your tennis match. And apparently, I haven't seen it. It will tell you how many unforced errors, how many winners you had, how many points were played. It does all of that data analysis right there for you. And I've seen people at the tennis court using this. If you really are into doing that and looking at that kind of data, you really can. However, what I will say about the technology is that's interesting and I can see where it can benefit. However, where my focus is, my concentration, my specialization is in the most important computer or video or program or data analysis, etc. And that's your mind, your body, your heart, your spirit, your soul. Okay. So where can you find these highlights? Again, it could be you presenting to someone and then you recording it. You could be recording something on your phone, posting it somewhere online. It could be anything. It could be a podcast, right? It could be you playing soccer, basketball, tennis, baseball, football, volleyball. Doesn't really, it can be anything. That's the point. And so what I'm saying is that your mind, when you instruct it to, and when you strategically take action to record your highlights in your mind, right? When you watch yourself in a video, let's say like me, you get up in front of people fairly often and you watch yourself. Well, there are highlights in there, right? There are things that you see that you're like, wow, I really like that. I'm going to use that again, or I'm going to add a little to it, or I'm going to modify it, or I'm going to say it in a little different way with a little different emphasis, right? Right? As a professional actor, professional actress, what's it all about? How you make the audience feel. And so you can say one line, and from that one line, even though they're the exact same words, the way you say it, the way you present it, your eye contact, your body language, your facial expressions, your inflections, your tone, your everything demeanor, etc., the environment, the culture that's around, etc., can make something look and sound different with the same words. I could sound scared, or I could sound ecstatic, or I could sound excited, or I could sound sad, reading the exact same words. And that's what professional actors and professional actresses do. So, so far, we sourced one way. Well, actually, two ways. Whether you're watching videos of yourself or you're taking some kind of selfie video of you playing a sport, which is very good. I mean, I have nothing against that because then you can really look at it and you can reflect on it and add to what it is that you have in your mind. However, the other way, obviously, is also a visualization. And if you haven't listened to my podcast, you can go back and I did a series on visualization using the ball method and exactly what's the difference between visualization and when to use visualization before, during, and after, and then what's the difference between visualizing and seeing. So you can go back and look at those. So that's another one. And then, of course, the other one is a vision board. You can create a vision board. You can create a vision board and stick it right there on your iPhone, and it's there for you to look at. And it has your success checklist on it. What do you do in a routine daily? I have my success checklist and I put it into habit share. And I can just mark off the days that I do it. And I know what days I did what and track it that way. So that's another way. Now, the other way is just your recollection of a game. For example, after you play or after you work, let's say my example, the owner, the chef. Well, he needs to source his ingredients from somewhere. He needs to source his packaging. Now he needs a place to cook it. He's got these relationships. He's got these people. He's got to take it and deliver it. You see what I mean? He's obviously has a lot of highlights throughout the day, right? And the other highlight that he has is that he's able to make meal prep for people. And his meal prep is done so that there's really no sodium, there's really no sugar. So those two are gone. And then there's a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of carbs. He has a mix. And so it's healthy food. Okay. And so that's very important for him to have those highlights in his mind, right? And he has those highlights. So you keep the highlights. Those are ones that you play. And then when you're actually about to do an event, let's say, before, let's say you do anything that you work with. I mean, if you're a professional, you're going into the office, before you go into the office, you play your, and I'll add another source here, your mind movie. I'm calling these highlights a mind movie. So I can also put together a mind movie from your vision board and put some music to it, a tune you like. Maybe you don't like music, then I won't use music. Just something that just shows you and just shows like where you are, what's important to you, or what's important, your family, things like that. Just some tasks that are important to you, your routines that are important, just things that are highlights for you and that make what you do going to work or playing sports. Yes, that's a everything's integrated, right? So I'm not trying to put it in silos, it's integrated. So, what's your support system? All that can be in your mind movie, right? And I can actually physically make one for you. Then, of course, what I'm saying and emphasizing here is you can take all these sources and make your mind movie in your mind. Play the highlights in your mind, the movie reel in your mind, right? And this is another way of preparing mentally or preparing your body. right? Preparing your heart, preparing your spirit, your soul, etc. Just preparing yourself for whatever it is you're going into the office. Well, you play your mind movie, whatever that may be, whatever type of job you have, work you have, whatever walk of life. You can do this again before, let's say, you go to the gym. You can play your mind movie, right? Or you can play this before you go and play a sport, play your mind movie. So instead of going there thinking, don't do this, don't do that, do this, or this is a strategy, etc. You just play the mind movie and just watch the movie of you performing, and you're lucid, you're fluid, you're in the zone. You play this mind movie, right? Or you can call it highlights. So these are all ways to source it. These are all sources. So obviously, when you're in real time now that you played your mind movie, you're actually, in a way, you're creating a movie while you're playing, right? You might not have thought of it like that. However, you're basically creating a movie. And as you're working or you're playing, this is all being recorded right there by you, by your mind. And you're able to then keep those highlights, that mind movie highlights, and you're able to then use that and call upon that. I use a mind movie, for example, when I'm transitioning from, let's say, working in the morning for some deep work, and then I take a break. So let's say I eat lunch and now I'm getting back to work. Well, I'm going to use my mind movie before I get back. Maybe my mind movie is me box breathing and meditating. And I just play those highlights, that mind movie of me meditating and box breathing. And then I'll play another mind movie of me actually podcasting because that's what I'm doing right now. So before I started podcasting, I played my mind movie or my highlights of podcasting because, hey, things just, yes, I'm an expert and sometimes things just flow through me, right? And they come to me. And yes, they come to me a little easier because I am an expert. That's the reason. It's not because it's just happens. No. However, there are days sometimes where, because I want to deliver the best content that I can to benefit performers and achievers who listen, which I thank you for listening to my podcast. I see that every day. I see the metrics, and I really appreciate that. And so I want to deliver for you. I that's important, and you're there and you're listening and you're probably driving in your car maybe or you're on your iPhone, maybe you're at your work, your job, maybe you're at home. I don't know where you are. I just know you're somewhere listening. And so I really appreciate that. And so it's challenging some days to be able to deliver something that's practical for you. And this again, it's not anything, it's all foundational. Everything that I'm talking about is just foundational. It's not fancy stuff. It's not, go out and buy this whatever device. I mean, I'm not against any of that. I mean, I think those are great. However, what my emphasis is that those devices aren't going to be with you when you're actually performing. That's my point. That's the whole point of this. What it's going to be with you is you and your preparation, your mental strategies, your mental skills, right? You present or you're about to present. The microphone doesn't work. What's going to happen now? Something else happened. Computer's not working, maybe. Or, hey, you're presenting and wow, there's people that come from 400 miles away just to come to watch. I mean, they're just not there to watch you. I mean, they planned in their itinerary, and you just were part of that itinerary because they like attending events like this. There are people like that. Just like people who go to concerts. I don't go to many concerts. Every once in a while, I'll jump on YouTube. I do go to a local club here, and sometimes they have some live music. I enjoy that and mostly play covers, sometimes some original stuff. However, there are people who are just concert goers. I mean, they'll go to any concert. You put on a concert, they're there. They're music fans or music. They're into that. Yeah, they'll go to an amphitheater, they'll go to a sold out stadium, they'll go anywhere. Coliseum, it doesn't matter. That's just their thing. They're into it. Some people are into speaking engagements. Some people are into these kind of events where they receive some kind of practical inspiration and motivation, edutainment, so education, training, and then also be entertained. And obviously, that's important to them. So they attend those types of events. Some people, that's just not their thing. And that's okay as well. And some people, music's not their thing. You know, they like, I just turn on the radio and listen whenever I want to listen to, whenever I like to listen to. And that's as much as I want or need or like. So again, my emphasis is when you're performing or before you're performing and when you're performing, all this technology and everything, it's not there, right? You're performing. Now, yes, has people recorded me with video cameras? Yes. Lighting? Yes. Have I been on a studio set? Yes. Right? I've been on TV, etc. Somebody else is working all that. I'm not working the controls. I'm not doing anything with that. The controls that I'm working are me and preparing, right? Watching my highlights. And then I'm watching my mind movie. And then while I'm doing it, I'm actually creating my mind movie. And so my mind movie always has the next iteration, right? And it just keeps feeding that in there, right? You can say this for anything. So, let's say you experience something and now you want to show that, hey, I've never have really done that to that quality. I mean, I've done stuff and I'm progressing, which is really all I think anyone's really looking for and looking towards is progression. I mean, I'm not trying to hit like some amazing target. I mean, that's just, I think, setting people up for not enjoying and not succeeding. So, progression. And so, what once was something that was not as familiar to you now is more familiar and you're more consistent with it. And so you progress. And as you're progressing now, you can see how you can just make certain tweaks. And a lot of it's become muscle memory, right? A lot of it's become a muscle memory. And so you'll know this. So that's important. So your mind movie, do you watch your highlights, your mind movie? And do you create one? And do you know that each time you're performing, you're recording your mind movie, you're creating it? And that should bring you a lot of enjoyment beforehand, just so you can prep for it. And then during it, you've actually designed what you're going to do and you deliver and you're creating more of those highlights, more and more of those highlights. And isn't that what we all like? We like our highlights. So, what's your highlights? Maybe it's a slow time for you. So, watch your highlights when it's slow in your mind and just play those and then go into whatever it is that you're doing. That's what I have for you today. If you like my podcast, like it. For those of you who want who are interested in my private, personal, professional, confidential services and programs, visit my website, rajgavurla.com, fill out the brief form, and we will contact you as soon as we can. Enjoy your day.